So once I got to see Robert Herjavec from Shark Tank Live, and I wanted to ask him this question. I saw him; he was giving a seminar at Texas A&M, and so that he did a speech, which was actually a really great speech, and I like him. I like pretty much all of the main sharks a lot, and he did a Q&A time, and this is the question I wanted to ask him. When should you start a second business? Because I was starting to make some money in my business, and I was just wondering when is it viable? When does it make sense to start adding more businesses? Because if you're like me and you're interested in investing and just having a lot of interesting stuff going on, you probably want to start multiple businesses. So that's a question I wanted to ask him. I didn't get to because what happened is everybody kept raising their hands. Of course, this is a big auditorium at Texas A&M, and nobody was even asking him questions. What they did is they raised their hand, he'd call on them, and they would pitch him an idea, and they were the worst ideas ever too. He was super nice about it, which was cool. But I didn't get to ask my question. And later on, there were other high earning 8-9 figure entrepreneurs that I asked that question, and I never felt like I got a good answer. When should you start a second business? Which, by the way, plays in for a lot of you if you're interested in owning an app, owning your own custom software. That's probably a question that you're asking. And here is the answer I've come to. So I made the mistake 3 times of, while I was owning the app, guys, which I still do, still my thing, and running and growing the app, guys, I would try to start something else. It would be I would try to start 2 different marketing companies. I owned a database company, some other stuff, and it never worked until I got to a certain point. Then I was starting to now I own minor portions of more than 10 other companies aside from the app, guys. Here is the main thing I have learned as far as the answer to when should you start a second business. You should only focus on a second business after you have built your first business to at least net 6 figures profit a year, and probably for 2 years at least in a row. You need to be able to build a foundation, prove your business skills, learn, pivot, get educated, also build a team that possibly you're able to kind of use on maybe more than one company, is what a lot of people wind up doing. But you need to prove cash flow. You need to have cash flow. You need to just kind of spend some time on your education. And then once you have that down, then what I recommend are limited. I love close-ended tests. So don't go crazy necessarily with your second business. All right. So now you're making 6 figures. All right, here we're back again. Jeez. So now you're making 6 figures. And what are you going to do? You're going to do a close-ended test. So you're not going to be like, I'm taking out a loan, I'm doing a $100,000 app. Don't give me your money in that case, okay? Just what you want to do is say, all right, what's the minimum viable product here, whether it's an app or another kind of business. Do it close-ended. Say, all right, I'm giving this $10,000, $20,000, $50,000, whatever, and 6 months or 1 year or 100 days. But closed-ended. Say, this is a test, and I want to see what kind of traction it can make within these kind of parameters, and then scale it from there, whether it's an app you own, a software, whatever. And that is how and when to start a second business.